Hello everyone and welcome back to Essential Excel. Today we have a new formula, or it's kind of a bit of a quick tip as well, but a new formula we want to touch on was very useful. And we're going to be using some examples that we used previously in our last video, showing you how to use the date diff formula. If you haven't seen that video, do check it out. One, that's going to be useful for this one, and two, it's just a great formula and function to have at your reference. The link to that video will be on the screen somewhere now. So like I said, if you haven't seen it already, do go check it out, or go check it out after you've seen this video here. So what we're looking at today is concatenate. And concatenate is the ability to combine the values that are in two different cells to help form either a sentence or any multitude of reasons why you would want to combine information currently held in two separate columns or two different cells into one single cell or one single column if you're doing the whole data set. So what we're going to do is, using this example again, as we said from the date diff, is in row 2, you can see we have an example here where we looked at the number of years, or the difference in complete years between the 1st of Jan 2019 and the 1st of February 2021. So what result we want to return in our first column here, in column F, is rather than just number 2 as we do in column D, we want to show, or we want a string of text that says the result, what's number 2, followed by the text years. So column F just tells us 2 years. What gives us the clear indication of the unit that 2 represents. What we do have available in Excel is two functions or formulas. One is concat and the other one is concatenate. Both of these formulas do enable you to combine text, and they're easily achieved by using the equal sign, concat, and open your brackets. And then if we were to combine the values in across these two cells, D2 to E2, and hit enter, or go select that range, what you can see happens is it clearly identifies, or combines, shall I say, the 2 and the difference in compute years. What's fine. And the other option we have is concatenate. So what we can do is enter that, but this time what it wants you to do is to enter the values separately. So rather than selecting a range, you actually have to enter the various parts of that that you would like to combine together. So as you can see, separated with a comma, and do there you go, and I've got the 2 and the difference put together there. So that's a couple of real short touch on those two formulas and functions. By all means, go and see what you can find. If you want to play around those, do feel free. But what we're going to be looking at today is actually an even more simpler way of doing the same result with concatenate, but just using, not even using any functions in Excel, just typing a formula in ourselves. So again, what we want to do in column F here is combine the result in number 2 and the text years, so that we have one column that gives us the result and what that unit is, so 2 years in column F. In order to do that, all we need to do is enter our equal sign, start as we do any time when starting a formula. We select our result, what is the number 2, and then we simply add an and sign, or achieved by holding down the shift button and the number 7, and then either selecting the text, so you could select here to the difference in column in complete years. What would give us the same result if I just now hit enter as we did earlier when we used concat, so you can see it's completely just combine those two together. Or the other alternative we have, rather than entering that cell reference of E2, is we can simply add some quotation marks and type in the value of years, or the text of years, should I say. So we've got our cell reference, an and symbol to then add another reference, and this being a string that we have to surround in quotations. If we enter, we can now see we've got the 2 years. One other thing we can do, just to tidy this up, because 2 years at the moment is all in one phrase, is we can add a space. So there's 2 ways of doing this. You can either update your text, what's the number of years, to include a space at the beginning. Obviously it has to be within the quotations, so this time we've got quotation, space, years, and then quotation. And you can see we've now got a nice space there, what just tidies it up nicely of 2 years. Alternatively, what you can do, and what's good practice as well, because if you're referencing somewhere else to get the value of years, so another cell reference, it wouldn't contain a space. So what we can do, and again good practice, is after our first and is add some more quotations that only contains a space, and then add a second and symbol. So we can now review this and see that we're going to get the value in D2. We're then going to combine that with a space, and then lastly also combine that with the value of years, what gives us the same result. So then we can then change that year's value to anything we want to do, and that'll update and still retain that space. Taking that one step further, what we can do is now also go into our last value in column G, and this time rather than leaving it at that and just saying 2 years, we might want to make that a bit more detailed. So rather than just say 2 years, we might want to say there are 2 years. So what we can do here in our last G is use exactly the same format as we just previously did, but this time we need to add some text at the beginning. So we'll do our equal sign, and this time start with some quotations, and we'll type in here, there are, close quotations, and then what we want to do is add now a space. So we can do our little space for quotations, followed by another and symbol. Now we want to select our result. What's the number 2 in D2? And now the rest is exactly the same as what we did in column F. So another and symbol, another little space in quotations, followed by our last and symbol, and then the text years. And then hit enter. So now you can see we have a bit more extensive detail here. So we can say there are 2 years. Or what we could actually do there is we could put into here 2 years difference between the dates. And why not also add a full stop at the end there just to really round that off. So what we now have is a real dynamic ability to include the result with the value that it is a years. And the benefit of this, of course, is if this result was to change. So if we had in here, let's change this to the 1st of February 2023, so add 2 years on there. You can see what will happen is that date's changed. Our result has now changed because obviously there's now going to be 4 years difference in here rather than just the 2. And as you can see in our 2 concatenate formulas, we can see F is now telling us as 4 years. And also our full sentence description here has also now updated to show us that there are actually 4 years difference between the 2 dates. And this is you can play around with this as much as you like. You can add as much detail or further and symbols as well. It works really well for using things like your if statements, if you wanted to yield a different result or text based on your if statement. Depending if a result was true or false. And this is something we'll start moving into more when we look at further, more complicated formulas that allow us to really sort of build out the results based on our data. So we really hope you found that useful. And this is something that you maybe not have used before or something you can now start using. As always, do please drop us a comment below if you have any questions or even just to let us know how you got on with this formula. And alternatively, reach out to us on our Facebook. Links will be in the description below. As always, please do give this video a big thumbs up and a like. And why not share it with your friends if you did find it useful. And lastly, if you haven't already, do subscribe to this channel. We're trying to bring videos out at least one every other day, if not daily. So by subscribing, you'll ensure you don't miss any of our future videos. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon.